Good morning, everyone. Today is the day. What is this now? Oh, the wind. Oh, that's where that other piece came from. Well, they need to be replaced anyway. We had lots of wind here yesterday. And sometimes, come on. Again, I've been here for so many years. And really, I mean, I can't help it if there's one of the piggies. Gus, say good morning. He says, I want what's in that bucket. And knowing the damage wind can make, as I say, I can't help it if a tree comes down, a branch breaks off. But there's definitely in my surroundings where I put things up, work with things like a ladder, for example. And then instead of, when you're done with your work, you clean up your tools, put everything back where it belongs, which that's one thing I like. Always liked in my life. Put things away. Clean up after yourself. So, there's another one. That's someone under the eaves. But when wintertime comes especially, I clean up. Good morning, everyone. I clean up everything because in the fall and in the spring, you've got the strongest winds going. Yeah. Oh, it didn't take me to be I made up the word, weatherologist to know that. After all the time I spent here on Earth. I'll open this all the way up because I've still got a little wind going here. So now, day after, I get to go around, and sure enough, I find things that, well, should have took care of that. Or have someone help me, because there's a lot of things I just haven't been able to do. But I have people around to help with that. Now, if I see something where I have to say, okay, that's going to injure someone. That's going to hurt someone. Just because someone didn't put something away that, right, doesn't need to be where it's at anymore. Yeah. Then I say something. I have to say something. In a place like this, when you live just about, halfway in the wilderness, you can't take chances. 10 miles away from the nearest hospital, yeah. So, things regardless will still happen, right? But one really has to look at their own life. We're using this just as an example. Things are quite well under control. Always taken care of. And if I notice something going, nope, we're not doing that, right? Then it'll get taken care of. It doesn't matter if the people like it when I say something, and then they kind of, I kind of knew that. All right. So, there are things, you first, huh? That in your life that they're going to happen. It won't matter how much you clean up around your home and yourself, right? It's just going to happen anyway. But there are many things in our life, right? Through experience. Gosh, why do we even have teachers? Or preachers? Or guides? If you're so good in wandering through life without a guide. Like some think they need to go and ski in certain areas where then, most likely, they created an avalanche. Doesn't take much sometimes. Or where one was to happen according to the weather, and they go anyway, without a guide. Or, I wouldn't do that, but you have freedom of will, so you go ahead and you do that. And then I have to be all tore up about them dying, being buried under I don't know how much snow. You see? Okay, that's just an example. How many other things in our lives are exactly like that? Yeah, where, okay, I've gone cave hunting and cave, I wasn't going to say cave diving. Some of it was somewhat cave diving with the children, all by myself. But I stuck with caves that had been already explored. I stuck with caves that weren't too long. And when I got to a place where I'm going, now I'm not sure where we're at anymore, I backtrack, right? Because I still know how to get safely out of there with my children. Yeah. Oh, we had a ton of fun. We were one of the lucky ones that were still allowed to go in Skull Cave in Northern California there, where you can go, what was that called? Forgot now. Well, anyway, there's a Skull Cave, and you went down the ladder, there's now steps, then you got to this point, and you had to crawl through a hole that was about this big, and then you got the stand on, oh my gosh, hundreds of feet of ice, right? And then it's like circly, it's about the size of right here, like this, 2 stalls. And it's amazing. Now that's closed up. Too many people going in. They realized it was starting to melt more than it should. Right? But we were still some of the lucky ones who also went there without a guide, just by ourselves. Yeah. Kids and I. Wonderful. Now, and then there's another thing. Here, even though, right, you have to know, I know 2 or 3 people here, it wouldn't matter where they would walk here, they would find their way back home. Because they grew up here, lived all their life here, and they knew exactly what their limitations were as well, though, right? Now me, when I first got here, and I went and looked for a goat. I could hear, oh, goat is lost, and he's hollering, right? And I went in the dark, started to look for the goat, right? And found the goat, and then I had a hard time, okay, where am I exactly? It wasn't too far, so it was okay. But then another time, right? But even there I realized, whoa, how is it possible to get so easily lost here in the woods, even though I know I'm no more than half a mile from the house? And then another time I went looking for 3 baby goats. They were nowhere, absolutely nowhere, okay? Oh, so I did the pendulum. I could not. And the pendulum, okay, this is a life and death kind of matter. These babies were no more than, 3 weeks old or something, and out with their mom. Mom was in her stall, but the babies were nowhere to be found. So I went down to the mom and said, where are your babies? And she didn't seem to be all that concerned. It seems like, I went, whoa, okay. She was hollering for them, but, yeah. So I asked the pen right there to myself, where, because if anybody knows where they are at, it would be her. So, okay, and the pendulum is, it's an energy that flows from one thing to the other, and it connects to your energy, and you can get some answers, this and that. Again, the pendulum oftentimes is abused, misused, this and that. No, it's not. Okay, whatever. In any case, life and death situation. So I said, okay, where are these babies? Right. About in a circumference of 200 yards. 200 yards. Oh, how much is that? It's a pretty big circle. But they were within that circle. So first, I started going down a hill, and it was already getting dark. Down the hill, got darker, and I started going up another hill, and I realized, if you don't turn around right now, you are going to get lost. This will be very difficult for you to find your way back home. Okay? No lights. There's no lights here or anything to guide you. Nothing. Okay? I didn't have my compass with me. I was too worried about the babies to think about all them. Yes, right. Why didn't you? But I also felt, okay, I'm already way too far. This is not, they're not here. They're not here. So I went back again, okay? All right, which way? So I started walking up the hill. And suddenly I had this feeling of something else there, right? And I kept walking, and it was just, okay. So the fencing of the goats was way down there at the end of the pond. I walked way up towards our manure pile, and there was a log. And it had a little bit of a hole in there, and there they were, all three of them, sleeping. Mom was hollering. They were fine. They could hear Mom, probably see Mom, right? They just were tired. They went to sleep. That was that, right? Yeah. Interesting? Yes. So, how do we walk through life? Right? You have to you don't have to do anything. To walk through life without a guide or a teacher or a preacher, per se, someone that has proven to you that that's a good direction. This is, my heart to mind is clearing up. Right? Okay. Well, can you find that in people? Of course. But I found that it's not so easy for people to listen to people, other people. It's just what it is. But we have the guidance from heaven, the guidance from our heavenly parent, and that is the Ten Commandments, and then from the only begotten Son per se, from the one true beloved Son at that time. I think there are many true beloved daughters and true beloved sons out there at this time. Okay, I do. Okay, why? How? I just know. Because I see their work. And their work is so selfless. Their work is all about others, not just themselves. That's amazing. Amazingly, there's a lot of people out there like that, right? Okay, you've got to do these things on the side of goodness. Of course, there are things that others do for others that are absolutely evil and just not right and really sending people in the wrong direction. I always talk on the side of goodness. Always. That will never change for me. When I talk about anything, that is what it is. Otherwise, you would have to get into all these different examples that are not okay? You know when you're on the side of goodness, and you know when you're on the side of badness, on the side where anger, revenge, retaliation, and all that is your guide. You know that. Anybody knows that, right? Yes. So the Ten Commandments and the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, so sometimes one can't find a guide, a teacher, a preacher that isn't out for what you got, right? Yes? Yes. Yeah. And so there is one thing. So then you have to guide. Everybody has that guidance if they want to. It's up to them. Right? So there's one thing I just want to mention so I don't forget it is at a time like this, at a time 2 years ago, we have to be aware and beware of what our children are hearing. I've already seen posts again where, yeah, some boys, that's how they're raised, is to know how to shoot accurately at people, because that's what their country is all about. An army to, okay, it doesn't matter, oh, we do that, well, one can do that for offense and one can do that for defense. We're not really doing anything different. But the thing is, the children are hearing and what's going on. And they're already building up this maze of emotions that they have to try and find their way through. Because guess what? Children, in many ways, they're very affected by the talk of the adults, by what they see, and often don't quite understand what's going on. Yet. Just like in Cain, somehow that itty-bitty little bit of, who is your guide, Cain? Is your guide really me, your heavenly parent? Or is it something else within you that needs to have that first place? Who can't be happy for someone else to get that first place, right? On being recognized through the smoke going up and down for his brother Abel. You see? Okay. So, trying to figure out for children how to get to that maze, right, is very difficult. And right then and there, a character is formed. Right then and there. So let's say it this way. A character can be formed. Yes. Sadly, children don't know what to do with these emotions. They don't know. So one thing, if you are someone very much into what's going on in the world right now, this and that, make sure that you have the 10 Commandments and the Lord's Prayer ready for your children as well. So you can go through it. Yeah? Okay, this is what's going on in the world. Mom and dad, aunt or uncle, grandpa, grandma, this, that, all their siblings. We're concerned in what's going on in the world. And no doubt some angry talk is going on in the home over it. To just, gosh almighty, what are these people doing? Okay, one dude is doing, right? Yes? But there needs to be a balance. Children, younger children especially when you start reaching 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they need to be taught balance when it comes to that. Oh, righteous anger? Oh, sure. I mean, am I happy about? No. But I know that me keeping focus on where I'm at, right? On a clear path where my guide is the 10 Commandments and the Lord's Prayer, just as a foundation to start with, right? Then I will not lose myself in that maze of emotions that then is teaching my children, my grandchildren, the wrong attitude about anything. You see? Yes? And suddenly have to accept, okay, things that we do not need to accept. We just keep trying to teach about it. Yes. Okay. These guys are ready. I'm sweaty. Still missing one. Okay. Hang on. I'll have to get out a little more. This is just the end of one bale. So, do I believe? Oh, where'd the other one go? I didn't see it out there. I gotta go find that. Well, they won't eat it, but as I say, again, I'd rather be safe than sorry than one of them actually getting a string halfway down their stomach, and then what? Right, buddy boy? I absolutely believe in the power of a there is collective sin. The abuse of love, the principles of love in the world are out of this world. Collective sin. Well, if there's collective sin, there has to be collective good. Why don't we talk more about that? And I believe that though we're not closing our eyes to the conflict I believe, with keeping our emotions clear and clean and purposeful through prayer, through certain other physical conditions that one can make, like fasting, even if it's just for a day, or only eat 2 meals a day instead of 3, or 1 meal a day instead of 2. Okay, could go on and on and on. So many good. Ways to create conditions for the war. Well, the one that's, everybody knows about it now, is going on. I think that, Maddie, watch out, watch out. Ooh. Oh, good, he's too busy thinking about food. Gus, move back. Here he comes. When you're, I think we can all agree that if someone comes to you and they have a problem, oops, keep going, and they're really angry, what is it with you lately? Go on. Yeah, good boy. If they let me know ahead of time, look, I don't need any advice. I don't need any of your talking or teaching or preaching. I just need to vent, right? Okay, that's good too, right? That's cleaning up some, right? Yet, if you are like a friend, then that kind of, okay, so what advice would I have? Well, most likely it's always in the direction of the positive. Well, number one, you need to figure out what went wrong. Then you go from there. Then you rebuild, whatever it is, right? That's it. If we feed, though, as advisors or friends, good friends, people you could talk to day and night, I don't know what, if you feed a negative fire, it can grow so out of control that then you won't be able to help put it out. You see? Okay. I'm just using that as an example, right? My advice often to people now is, well, go read up on things. That's the best thing I can, go read up on the pros and the cons and this, and then make your decision about certain things. There is that. So I believe in the conflict that goes on in another part of the world, I have nothing to do with. Oh, well, but you do. Well, indirect, yes. Oh, so a good one, too. Oh, yeah, so they raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Yet a year ago, you could still buy more with $7.50 an hour. Whoa, okay then. Did he go out? He says, she's hollering. I'm not staying in here. Yeah. Yes, see? Yes. So, all right, so nothing has changed. Well, that's good too then, right? All right. I believe in the power of positive, good energy. I absolutely 100% do. And that is what I'm sending, okay? not going to send myself to get killed. Right? Oh, in a war. I don't want any of my people going over there either. But what I can do, and I absolutely believe in, is that power, and if enough of it is generated, then spirit world and God can work. They really can. You never know what's going to happen. Right? Yet, what a change though. It's because we're very spoiled. We're given to anger so easily. Right? We give in to anger so easily. We do. I said righteous anger. Okay, what's righteous anger? It's okay to say, well, that's not all right. That doesn't mean I'm angry. Right? That just means, I'll tell you right from wrong. How's that? That's wrong? To question other people's sanity, or IQ, per se, or right, their heart to mind, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's not being angry. That's just, well, get to know yourself. Truly. What are you feeding in this world? And what are you actually helping with? If that's how you want to present yourself. Right? People can cry all day long, this and that, or I don't know, and they're so, they're considered warm, soft-hearted people. Right? And then there are people like me who are, okay, a bit cold-hearted. I don't think I'm cold-hearted. I live in the reality. This isn't a hologram to me. I live in reality, and I know where my limitations are, and where my limitations should be, have to be, and need to be. Yeah. So, yes. So you got one side and the other. I guess both sides can work together as well, if sincerity is truly there, right? Yes. Anywho, so there's that. I need to clean the barn now. My last day here. Oh. Gus, my baby, are you going to be okay without Mama? Maddie's going with me. Maddie, no, Maddie does not stay. He's a little too big. And he's well taken care of here. We still have years and years and years to spend time together, don't we? Yeah. So he'll live for the next couple of months just fine. Well, anyway, so I know the tempers are running high out there. The speculations on what's next, this and that. I've seen one very famous guy. Ow! Very famous guy who, suddenly he's talking about warning people what's coming, this and that. Really? That's not what I want to hear from someone who tearfully, testifies to God now. What I want to hear from people like that who have viewers. I've got a few. This dude has hundreds of thousands. Okay? What I want to hear from someone that's that famous, that is, we're going to make it. We're not going to go down. Might have to lose the captain for it, but okay. We're not. We are going to. When you realize the formula of relativity, right? I just watched that, Albert Einstein. Which, by the way, okay, I'm not going to get into. All right. But anyway, you listen to that and you go, absolutely. The volume to the mass to liquid or something, or air, can be doubled, tripled and even more so if the right energy is flowing into it, around it, right? Yes? Oh, he mentioned water. Why would he mention water? Right? What does ice do? Right. When it melts, what does it do then? Right. Okay, so you understand? So we have to even physical examples on how that is the truth. On when you, I'm not going to start buying out 2 stores, so I'm going to be okay with my family here in the wilderness for the next 5 years. Not having to worry and care about anybody else out there. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. Right? I'm not going to be coerced into changing anything except for the preparations I have made in cases of certain things, but that does not include having to go out and start hoarding things. You see? Okay. I believe that as a whole in the world, the people, we're stronger than that. On the side of goodness, on the side of positivity. Yes, people are going to die. Children are going to die. Women are going to die. Animals probably blown to bits too. But we can't cave in to that. And we can't give up. We're at an amazing time right now in this world, okay? Where we have this communication system to start with, which is fantastic. So we should, and people have done that all around the world, at different times, where you somehow just connect. And that power of connection, that, no, we got the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. And send protection. Yeah. There are a gazillion angels everywhere, but you got to let them know. That's the country right now that needs some protection. Can I do that all by myself? Yeah, I can send as many as I'm able. Okay, too much again, right? It's difficult to explain on how that works, right? Make it a big long story. It doesn't matter how it works. The bottom line is ask. Everyone has, if you're on the side of goodness, you have a certain amount of angels that are absolutely there in every area of this and that are available to you. Not for yourself. Again, not for yourself. To help somewhere else. You see? Now think, if everyone were to do that, then of course I would have at least one person who is sending angels to help me, right? Yes? That's how it works. Just like with your tears, don't cry for yourself. Don't do that. But if your heart to mind is so touched, sometimes I can't help it. I just burst out in tears. And I'm going, what the heck? Why am I crying? Because I feel God's heart hurting so bad. So painful. With maybe something again that happened to a child or this or that. It just comes out. Right? And I cry not for myself. I cry for that child. That country. That family. You see? Then Spirit World can pick up these tears and they can do something with that energy, with that kind of giving, humble, selfless energy. They can do so many things. If you cry a river for yourself, you're just drowning it yourself. You see? That's the difference. Simple again? Okay. Bottom line today, yes, we have a country to protect. Not just pray for, to protect. Not by going out with guns and sending our soldiers there either. But to hope, to give them the protection of hope and They'll be guided. I know they'll be guided to survive. That many will survive. You see, that's what we can do. That's the best we can do without going against the Ten Commandments or the Lord's Prayer. You see? Yes. Hope it's a good thing in situations like that, right? Yes. That's all for today. God's love and blessings always. Oh, I'm so hot. Whew, sweating. I will talk to y'all another time.